Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt, aka Sir Knight, and this is the Roundtable Reacts. I just want to talk about all the speculation I've seen, give my 2 cents and thoughts on who the potential um, spy amongst the Mandalorians could be. And I'm going to call it like I see it and explain why. I want your feedback and thoughts because, you know, I think I'm right. I could be wrong, and if I am, so be it, I don't know everything, and I'm just along for the ride. So, with season 3 coming to an end, episode 7 in the books, I've been putting together a video and been watching the show a lot and editing and putting things together. And when you're doing that, you see a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again. So, we got our top 3 suspects, right? The Armorer, Axe, Casca. I actually think the biggest red herring amongst the three is going to be the Armorer. Number one is the horns and spikes, or whatever you want to call them, on her helmet and Gideon's. Um, I saw a thing today that I actually agree with. I think Gideon's is more, could be interpreted as more of a crown. He is a prima donna, you know. He's like, he's who I call the Deion Sanders of the Empire. I think that he's going for a crown type of nod. And again, now I know things stylistically change from animation to live action, but the horns or spikes on the armorer's helmet, to me they're spikes, not horns. Because when you look at the Clone Wars, I mean, the Mandalorians definitely added horns. Those things were 2, 3, 4 inches, and they were, they wrapped around to emulate Maul and the way he looked for his species. So to me, I think it's just a coincidence. Could be a thing. I think it's kind of a stretch, to be honest. That's just me. I also think that somehow she knows that when she tested the living waters that Din brought back from Mandalore, and then Bo confessed to seeing a mythosaur, that she was telling the truth. Not just beyond just taking her for her word, but I think that the fact that when you pour the water and it does that little glowy thing, that means something. And my theory on that is potentially it has something to do with the fact that there's a living mythosaur in the waters, or there at least was at some point. So after the purge and all the bombings and all the trauma that the planet went through, and you're still getting that feedback, those readings, from the purity test or whatever you want to call it, and then Bo confesses to seeing one in earnest and being very vulnerable for Bo, especially with someone that there's some tension there with because of their ideologies being so different. Um, I think she took Bo for her word, but she also knew. And then, when you get news like that, you've kind of got to think about it, process it, take some time, take a beat. So she comes back and she's like, you know what? It's the sign of a new age, which she is holding herself accountable from what she told Mando or Din in season 1. When she talked about the songs of eons past. So there's that, and then so she's become a little bit more flexible. I think she's telling herself without telling us, hey, I don't know everything. I believe in the way, and I want to walk like our ancestors walked, and I'm doing the best I can. However, we're on the verge of extinction. Our culture, our society is literally, they tried to purge us from the galaxy. So let's just take a back seat on that and be a little bit more tolerant, right? Let's come together, and that way we can make it, and then let the chips fall where they may from there. Also, because if there is a mythosaur and it is tamed, which I'll be honest, I don't think it needs to be, and I don't think we're going to see that, at least not in season 3. But if it is tamed and instantly whoever tames it is the Mandalore, what they say goes. So hopefully they can kind of establish their way for everybody. To me, if it were me, hey, let's do this, guys. If you're amongst your fellow Mandalorians, you could take your helmet off. If you're not, keep it on. That's me trying to appease both worlds. I say all that to say this. I think that she's realized that Mandalorian lives are precious and few and far between, and they've had a hard time building back up. They got decimated on Navarro, and Paz in season 3 went on to say that they were butchered in the sewers by the Imperials. Why would she make a deal with the Imperials who just butchered her covert on Navarro in season 1 to sabotage and eradicate the Mandalorians that don't walk her way so that only her way can survive when they can just as easily backhand the remaining Mandalorians that do walk the way, wipe you out from existence altogether? You just can't trust them. And I think she's seen that, realized that, and so making a deal with Gideon like that just makes no sense to me. I mean, her reaction when the pirates, the scavengers, on the ship showed up and they recognized Bo, the armor steps up. She recognizes they're Mandalorians, like almost lustfully, like, oh my gosh, there's more. There are survivors. I just don't think someone that cares like that would not have the foresight to realize, like, hey, I don't have all the answers. So she saw a mythosaur, that means something. I'm gonna listen to that. Now I'm not gonna change myself and change what I believe, and I'm gonna walk the way, right? But because she doesn't necessarily mean that we can't work together, right? We work together with people we don't get along with all the time. It's called being professional. So I think at this point, the armor has a earnest desire to see Mandalorians survive, and she's just being professional about it. Does she going to be best friends with Bo? No, but does she respect what she's trying to do? I think so. I can't quite decipher the hierarchy between the two, but they respect each other and treat each other accordingly. I mean, they're always doing that extra little head nod of I acknowledge and respect and hear what you say. Yeah, it was a little suspect that she took the injured to the fleet. I think it just coincides with what I just said. Wants to take care of them, wants to make sure they survive. They're going to the Great Forge. I'll see the Great Forge later. I've seen it before. I just think that it was meant to create suspense for us, the viewers. So hats off to the director. I think it was Rick. And I think he achieved his mission there. So it did, because it did. I was like, oh, are they going to get trapped here? Is the fleet going to show up? Is there going to be, they come out of the clouds and there's going to be a space battle going on? And there wasn't. So with that, I'm going to be done with the armor. Tell me if I'm way out of line or you disagree or whatever. But next would be Axe. Now, Axe literally has an axe to grind. He's prejudiced. He is. I don't think he's. Yeah, I don't think he's chauvinistic by any means. I think he's just earnest in his set of beliefs and kind of a dick. To me, watching his reaction to the visual of when they walked up on the forge, the Great Forge, he takes off his helmet and he's just heartbroken. You can see it all over his face. He fights, doesn't, I don't think he's throwing his punches or pulling his punches during the fight, and says he's going to get reinforcements. And to this point, we haven't seen him not do anything he said he's going to do. And when someone pushes him, he fights, right? He's not going to say no. So he's not running away from that fight. He is going to go get the fleet. That's what he's going to try and do. Now, how? I have no idea, because the gauntlet's gone, and I don't know how high you can get in those jetpacks. So, can he break atmosphere high enough to send a signal to a comm? Hey, we just got ambushed. We need to get back down there. On their way down there, they run into the interceptors and the bombers, and we're going to have a space fight. Maybe, hopefully. I'd like to see that. They've done really good with their fights this season. He is flawed, but not to the point of yeah, I'm gonna look out for myself and kill all these mofos. He was fat and happy sitting on Premier 15 or Proximo 15 or whatever that stupid planet was. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, but that's where he was. He got a contract. He's keeping him working. He cares about his people. He's not happy about where they are. He's not. I don't think he loves being a mercenary. I think he's got to. You got to pay the bills, right? Put food in their bellies. So he's doing his best and doing what he's good at. And made seemed like a decent leader. If I had to call him out, I think he'd be a solid lieutenant or VP. Maybe Casca's the lieutenant. So I think I don't think it's him. I think he's earnestly trying to do what he said he was going to do, and that's based off of what I've seen, the few moments that they gave him in the show to display his character and the choices that that character would make. So to wrap it up is Casca. Casca we know the least about because she has the least dialogue. I don't think she's ever had a one-on-one with anyone. Bo, Mando, the armor. Well, why would she have one with the armor? If it turned out to be her and I was wrong, I feel like that's cheap. Casca would feel like you could have done that way better. I say no to her because there's a scene in the last episode. It's the scene where Bo is confessing to surrendering. Before she gets into kind of the details, Casca goes to speak, and I believe, based on the expressions and the body language that came through to me, she was coming to Bo's defense. Bo raised her hand and told her to stop. She's like, no, I have to do this. Huge moment for Bo, by the way. Saw her together with Bo after Axe had left when the series or the season finale of season 2 when Boba and Din go to find Bo because he has the coordinates to Gideon's ship, and she's still with her. I feel like she's known Bo for a long time, and I think that there's a love and respect there. I think whenever they split, I'm gonna guess that Bo was in such a foul mood and dark place and depressed and down and out and bummed. She's like, go, go. I don't want you around here. I'm no fun to be around. I want to be alone. Go make some money. Go help them out. Make sure they don't die. And I think it was kind of a begrudging parting of ways. But Axe became the leader there for a moment, and I know I'm reaching and speculating there, but that's really all I have to go off on that one. Also, another thought I had that I'm going to go loop back to the armor, and I'm sorry. They don't have comms. They've never showed Din sending a message to the covert. You have to show up to the covert in person. They have never showed the armor doing anything but making armor. The technology that they have amongst the covert is primitive at best. So when the episode's called The Spies, the title could be a red herring in and of itself. Now, could it be a generalization where we knew that Katie O'Brien's character, shoot, I can't remember her name. Anyway, clearly everyone saw that she was shady and knew that she was a spy. So to me, watching the episode a handful of times and doing all the editing, blah blah blah, I think that Gideon's smart enough to know if those two factions are together, the next logical step is to come to Mandalore, and they are no longer going to believe the propaganda that I've been spreading that the planet is cursed and poisoned. I better prepare. I better ask for these bombers and interceptors and Praetorian guards because they're coming. To me, I'm going to give Gideon his due, give him credit for having some foresight, knowing that yes, I chose to set up shop here, and now it's going to come to maybe bite me in the ass unless I can turn this into an advantage. And I think he just prepares for as many outcomes as he can think of. Giancarlo said he's always got something up his sleeve, so he's always thinking ahead. And now that's not to say that there isn't a spy, on Navarro that saw them leave. Actually, we know there was a spy on Navarro from season one. No, season two. Yeah, it was an alien with these really like silver eyeballs or whatever. It was really creepy looking. I just think, and it comes down also to the story too. Like they don't come out of left field too often, outside of like the cameos, right? But to me, they will linger on a character when there's a meaning behind it. Especially, for instance, that spy on Navarro. I mean, I think he got two direct camera shots, and the one where he specifically, like, they were walking back into town, he was headed towards the Razor Crest, and he turned around, and then 20 minutes later we find out he's reporting to Katie O'Brien's character, TK, whatever, whatever, and that he was a spy. So I think the spies just means he has a network of spies out there, and he's very well informed, very thoughtful, and planned for this. So with that, I think what I'm afraid of, because kind of like I said, they show you things for a reason. And I think they showed us the mind flayer that Dr. Pershing got put through, because I think that's what they're going to do to Din. And I'm not happy about it. Is if you go through a whole season where he's not the main character, it's Bo. But he goes on a subverted journey of observing her, learning to like have a friend and someone he can trust who's just as capable as he is, if not more so. I'd love to see a one-on-one, just for one of those, like they have a sparring session and like, hey, let's go. Who would win? So if I had to guess, he's a better shot, and then I think in every other aspect she might be a bigger baddie than Din. Anyway, if they flay him and he forgets all that, and forgets Grogu, I'll have watched 3 years and spent 5 years of my life loving the show, and I'll be very, very upset. Yeah, they either flay Din or Bo dies. I just thought of that. I don't like that either. They could do it. Here's why I say they could do it. She feels guilty as hell, and even though Din's kind of like, hey, cut yourself a break, forgive yourself. You're an honorable, good person. Like you care. You're trying to do the right thing. But she's never even mentioned Satine. She was a part of Death Watch. I thought they might put the camera on her for a second when the guy was like, how did these ones survive? And the armor says we were hidden on the moon of Concordia, and then the captain, he says, are you part of Death Watch? And then the armor, I thought right then and there, I thought a single shot on Bo would have been appropriate. They didn't do it. At least I don't think they did. So, but she was a part of Death Watch. Yeah, until Maul beat, I think it was Pre Vizsla, and yeah, Tar Vizsla, Pre Vizsla, and Paz Vizsla. So Pre Vizsla died, and she's like, no, an outsider can't rule Mandalore, and she left. And she has gone through some serious trauma, and I think in an effort to again kind of do the hero's play, she could put herself in a position to make the ultimate sacrifice, just like Paz. I don't. Do you do that 2 episodes in a row? Does that make sense to do that? I think that's kind of lazy, to be honest. Unless they finally like did it for love. They really haven't pushed the romance angle too much. But you can love someone without having romantic feelings for them or desires for them. So maybe in an effort to save Din, maybe that's something that happens. Or she's gotten so close with Grogu this season. I mean, he was literally on her lap at the start of the last episode, maybe to save Grogu. But anyway, that's my video. That's what I'm gonna put out there. Let me know what you think. I'm so excited and also kind of scared for the finale. I think we're gonna be a mixed bag of happy and sad because there is a season 4, and we lost Paz already, so they're in a tough spot, a really tough spot. So hey, appreciate you guys checking this out. Thanks for swinging by. I really want to know what you think, and hey, let's just be respectful, please. This is my opinion, my thoughts, my speculation. That's fun for me. Don't ruin it for everybody else. No name calling. You can have your own theories. Make your argument. Try and be convincing. Let's have a debate. But at the end of the day, be respectful. I believe that this is the way. So, with that, until we are assembled again, my friends, farewell.